Hello, and welcome to Nana Pod, the podcast dedicated to the fantastic manga written by Aya Yazawa. I am Crystal.
Kirsten.
And we are here to dissect this manga, discussing everything from the emotions, the cultural impact, as well as any headcanons that might be floating around inside our brains. This podcast is meant to preserve the shoujo staple that sadly hasn't been talked about in a very long time, and we are here in room 707 discussing chapter 2 of book 1 of Nana.
Volume 1. Okay, I guess before we dig in, I took the time to watch like the first 4 episodes of the anime because I was like, why do I hate Hachi so much in the first chapter? I have to figure this out. Okay, no, like it was like actually really bothering me, and I'm gonna partially blame Mars. I'm gonna partially blame like overstimulation, burnout, but like I was like, something is off, right? She's totally not the same in the anime, and I forgot.
Oh.
Right? Because
Yeah.
like they focus on it differently, and they also introduce the anime where they're on the train. That's where it starts. And I'm like, oh, that's the perspective shift because it's been so long since I'd reread it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'll turn on the anime for like background noise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, still my opinions stand, but we will see. And it's also like the aspect that the Nanas need each other. And so reframing it in a way where they're not together, it had been so long since I had isolated them as characters.
Mm-hmm.
So moving into the second chapter, I was like, oh, that's why. Like, that's why. Because I need the other Nana to balance out the other Nana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got to do four episodes of the anime.
Well, four episodes is the first freaking. I'm gonna try not to cuss as much, so we don't have to change like our change our demographic audience. But but no, it's 4 episodes is the first chapter.
Oh yeah, that is true.
It's so long. Well, and also because they introduce it like in the future, go to the past and then go back to like, but not in the future. It's in the past, but in the timeline.
There's a lot going on.
There's so much going on. And since we're still kind of figuring out format, what do we want to do? Do you want me just to like start? Do you want to start? Do we want to dive in? Or do you have any pre-thoughts before we start discussing the chapter?
I mean, I guess the only there is like a weird pre-thought, but I probably won't be able to fully explain it until we're like further on in this. But I guess my pre-thoughts are I love Ren and Nana together, and I have some suspicions about Yasu.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I love Yasu. Yasu is a fucking angel. Sorry, I cursed. He's a golly angel, okay? Yasu is an angel. He is an angel. Yasu is perfect.
I love him. No, I do love Yasu. Don't get me wrong. I do love him. I have some suspicions in my head. It's probably just me because I project a lot of my own experiences into this manga. I probably shouldn't, but it's just it's how I operate when I read things. So you're just gonna have to deal with me doing that.
Yasu is an angel. He is an unproblematic king. Like, I'd date Yasu. I would totally date Yasu.
Actually, you guys would be super cute together.
Right? I would totally date Yasu. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And Yasu is also, Yasu is the male June.
Oh yeah, no, that is true.
He's Nana O's June.
He is, but he's so cool.
He's so cool.
I mean, again, the complex characters, like, I love that they're so complex, but that means that I can have complex feelings about certain aspects.
Well, now I need to know your headcanon about Yasu. Because he does get introduced in this chapter, so we might as well. Bring
I
it. It'll
know.
be
I
foreshadowing. It'll be foreshadowing.
Oh, okay. So I'll try to do this in a non-spoilery way. Um, I think that Yasu gave the green light to Ren because of certain feelings that he is keeping under wraps.
Oh, he's in love with Nana.
Yes,
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
He's trying to be,
110%. Absolutely. No, he's in love with Nana.
yes.
Absolutely. Oh,
And
absolutely.
that was my thing. I'm like, I think that I think
I have always thought that.
he well, yes, there oh, okay, because I'm just like, I feel like you did a certain thing because there is this person that you like, and if certain people were, not here anymore, you could maybe, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily think that because I really do genuinely think that Yasu just he puts everybody else first,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that, but I am a suspicious bitch. I told this to Onyx like during one of our podcasts. I'm like, I'm a suspicious bitch.
Even though I don't,
No.
but if you're getting at Yasu and the very end, I don't think Yasu had anything to do with it.
No, no, not that. It's here in the bit. Well, I'll explain it. I think I'll explain it. Like people, guys, you're just gonna have to realize that this is a spoiler chapter. Sorry, I'm gonna spoil things. I'm so sorry, but I have to explain this point. But I won't until we actually get to
Okay,
Yasu
we'll
talking
get
to
to
Nobu.
right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that part. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Fair.
So,
Well,
did you?
you get to meet the dreamy Yasu. Uh
I mean, do you have pre-thoughts before the chapter commences?
Not necessarily pre-thoughts. I cried. I fucking cried. I cried.
Mm,
I
I get it
cried.
though.
I cried because all the feels of knowing, and I'm just like, oh, no, I don't want to fall in love with them, and I don't want to fall in love as them, and I don't want those feelings right now because I know what's gonna happen.
I know, but
But the fact that Ayazawa can captivate that even through rereads,
mm-hmm.
like, I mean, I don't know how many times I've reread it, but it's been many years since I have reread it. The last time, and probably about 4 or 5 years, I think I said.
Yeah.
But the fact that now even rereading it and like I'm still like my chest still pulls and I still get excited and I still have those sensational feelings, like that is genuine storytelling.
That's for sure. That's why I revisit this manga probably more so. This is gonna be so bad of me as a Moonie, but like I reread Nana more often than I actually reread Sailor Moon, even though Sailor Moon is near and dear to my heart.
Right.
It's
Right.
just, I gotta go back. I gotta make sure that my girls are okay, you know?
Yeah, but like they're completely different.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
drastically different. They're not the same epitome. Like
No. The other one has um, a different kind of sweetness than this
right,
one does.
exactly. Right. They're totally different stories. Like
Yeah,
um
agreed.
but I mean like Aizawa's work is always like top tier and then Ito comes second for me. Um it's but like that's also like very much who I am as a person too. You know what I mean? Like those are variable differences between our personalities and what we're attracted to as far as our stories go, you know? I'm
Yes.
just like Nana and the weirdest horror I can find. And you're like Nana and oh, so cute. Look at them go.
Yeah, yeah, that's I mean, I love my horror stuff too, but yeah, when everything's pretty and pink and yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no, I'm like, give me disaster, morose, and melancholia, and I'm good to go.
man, I mean, yeah, that's that tracks.
Oh my goodness. So in this chapter, we get introduced to the other Nana, Nana O.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, uh, she's like okay, so like complete opposite even in privilege, right?
Yes.
Because like her mother abandoned her with her grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know who her father is.
Mm-mm.
Like, and um her grandmother was single, an older woman who ran a diner, so like a hard worker,
Mm-hmm.
and um And so, you know, that's that's work. And then her
Hmm.
grandmother ends up like with a small child, like
Yeah.
not even prepared to do so. And her grandmother wants to, like, there's that balance because we don't really know the grandmother except through Nana's lens.
Yeah.
And um, you can tell so much that the grandmother was ashamed with how Nana's mother turned out, essentially.
Yes.
And so it's interesting though, because that direction and that derivative, because it's like, well, then when we think about parenting, how did the grandmother parent for Nana's mother? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like that part of it.
Yeah.
And um and so in turn, it's like Nana describes her grandmother as being very harsh, having her work without like even giving her like pocket change, things of that nature. And
Hmm.
um I can kind of understand that part of it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Where it shouldn't be like that's also like I think a privileged problem in its own right.
Yeah.
um but there's all these layers, and being abandoned in any way, shape, or form creates trauma.
Yes.
And then having that trauma ignored by the person who is taking care of you creates another layer of trauma.
Yeah.
And then we get Nana O.
Hmm.
um
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, did you get the same like sensation
Oh,
from
just like that very first panel of she's just like, I have no idea, where I'm born. I don't know my father, can barely remember my mother.
right?
Like
Yeah.
all that section. Yeah, I know we've kind of I've told you this before in the past, but like Nana O is literally almost every single close female friend I've ever had in my life. Like her tragedies, her personal tragedies, and all
Mhm.
of those things mirror women that I know.
Right.
So that's probably why she's my favorite Nana.
Okay. Yeah, that checks
Um,
out.
yeah, because I'm like, I just want to take care of you and I just want you to be happy. I want everything in your life to go right because so many things in your life have gone wrong.
Right. Right.
Um, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
that
I
that's the pull
mean,
that I have.
yeah, that's the balance of it. I mean, obviously out of the two Nanas, Nana O is more relatable to myself and my life story, as we know. And
Yeah, that's what I was
aside from like the rock star part of it, you know what I mean?
I mean, you're a different kind of rock star. It's why I mentioned like in every two girlfriend group, there is a there is a Hachi and there is a Nana, and I'm like, and I'm the Hachi.
Right.
There's only one Nana left here, and it's Nana. Oh, bitch, it's you. Uh, so,
Right.
but that's I love that though. I think that's fantastic. So, and that's why it's like, oh, but you need the Hachi, the soft. You need the stupid dog girl.
No, but she's not dumb. Like she's
I
just,
know. I
it's
love,
just
yeah, I love Hachi.
I was
Too.
so mean to her. I was so mean to her last week. Oh my God. I'm not even gonna listen to that episode when I post it. I'm gonna be like, no.
You're gonna be like, oh no,
I
what I
can't
did.
do it. I can't do it. I
It's
know that I
okay.
chopped her to bits, and I'm like, Mars, autism. No.
I mean, maybe it's okay. I mean, it's like okay, it's okay, Hachi. You're in a place right now. It's okay.
Right? Right. So from that panel, we move into Nana O having a concert,
Hmm.
and so that's how she's introduced. She is introduced as like the rock star-esque image, as well as the rest of the band.
Hmm.
And it pans into Ren, of course.
Oh, Ren.
Right? Like, oh, Ren. Oh,
Oh,
Ren.
oh, Ren. Oh, okay, so here's like the thing. Again, it's like a spoiler thing, but Maybe I'm reading so bad right now. I'm super in love with Takumi. I shouldn't be, but
Dude,
I
he's
am.
such a POS. Like,
Uh,
Takumi is such a bad guy, but like he's so hot because he's
He's
like just
so hot.
he's because he's toxic. It's literally because he's toxic. That is why.
I know. It is true though. Like,
And we will get to Takumi. I will put him on the chopping block as well, I'm sure.
oh, you can't. I understand that he's bad, and Takumi is like literary, like drug for me. Like,
No, no, I agree. He's
he's
so hot.
he's so hot.
He's so hot. He's so hot.
I know he's bad. I shouldn't like him or find him attractive, but I totally do.
Yeah,
So
because he's terrible. It's why
he's,
he's the villain.
I mean, he's also got long hair, and so does my husband,
I
so that's a
know. I
thing too.
get it. I know. I get it. I do. I understand. It doesn't mean
No, just
he is lawful evil, okay? Like
yes, yes,
Takumi
he
is
is.
lawful evil.
He really is.
He really is.
That's
Shit.
facts. But anyway, back to
Like
Ren.
we have to go, yes, back to Ren.
Back to
So
Ren. He's the
um
bassist, and he's shirtless in this panel, which is fantastic.
right, and there's the whole trope of like the Sid and Nancy vibes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we don't super get introduced to. So if you're not familiar, I don't know if anybody's not familiar with Sid and Nancy, but even this image, like he has like the lock around his neck,
Mm-hmm.
the shirtless punk rock band, greasy, probably smells, you know the drill. Um,
Just like a little bit, just smells a
yeah,
little bit.
you
I mean, I
know,
don't know. Didn't you did stuff with like bands though, right? Like,
yeah, they
weren't
all
you?
smell.
Oh, yeah, they okay.
Especially like they might not smell like when they're not performing, but venues smell.
Oh, yeah, I can
It
get.
is sweat.
It's sweat.
It is
Yeah.
sweat. And then it's also like not everybody showers, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like you combine those things into a space and
The pheromones.
it also depends on like the genre of music and if, hygiene follows.
Yes.
Uh
Facts.
so a big key though within like these 2 pages of panels and what we see like moving through it is they have a huge fan base for their tiny town.
Mm-hmm.
And having a huge fan base for a small town is a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so they all walk out and they have all of these fans, and then we get introduced to the number one stan, who is adorable, a little obsessive, okay, a little obsessive,
A little bit.
but absolutely precious. And I don't want to call her Mawako. That's from Paradise Kiss. Oh my goodness, Masato.
She just
Masato.
she looks just like her though.
Right?
Like,
Oh my goodness, though, when I built her apartment in Sims, it is the freaking cutest apartment. It is so cute. It is so cute. How could it not be? She's adorable. She's absolutely precious. And so like she's the stan. She is the stan of Nana. And all of the girls like dress up like Nana. Like,
yeah.
they're a big deal. They're a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
And so Masato gives her a birthday present because she knows it is Nana's birthday, and Nana is shocked. And so Nana kisses her.
Which, there it is. There's that sapphic stuff again.
Right. And like it's not even like that's the thing. I know that I was hard on that too. Because like honestly, if the two Nanas wanted to get together, hell yeah. And honestly, on top of all of that, I mean, even if they just had like a platonic partnership, that would be fine too, because they're great together. Doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? But also like what we find through like these next panels within receiving the present, and Nana jokes about how, she kisses her to shock her. It's a shock value thing. So I think within that, that's also part of my argument of depicting same-sex relationships in a way for shock value. Like
Yeah.
that's my big disagreement and why I can't get on board with the sapphic narrative. is
Mm.
because I don't think that it's from a genuine place. I think that it's from a shock value space.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong about that. It doesn't mean that I don't think I think Masato's into it personally, but
No,
that's
because that's
just
because
me.
they love Nana. It's
They
not
do.
even like it's not even necessarily like a romantic or relationship based thing. It's just like they love her.
That's true.
Love,
Her
right?
her fan base
Love,
is losing their
right? Her
minds.
fan, yeah. And so like Nana jokes about how, like Masato's probably getting it from the rest of the fans because of that.
Yeah.
And Ren calls her evil for it because like she knows that she's fucking with them.
Mhm. And
Um,
and should we talk about the jacket that she
yes.
got?
The
Yeah.
Vivienne Westwood jacket, and this is a classic Vivienne Westwood jacket from I believe I believe that this particular heart jacket. I would have to look it up to be sure. And if I'm wrong and I don't look it up, which will probably be the most likely avenue, um, you can tell me. I don't care. But I think it was the 80s when this jacket was
Mhm.
designed. But like Vivienne Westwood, if you know the history of Vivienne Westwood at all, Vivienne Westwood was um, a part of the Sex Pistols, a part of the fashion of that era, a part of like that um, era or wave of punk rock.
Mhm.
So that's how this gets pulled in, is because it's just one of those niche things
Yeah.
from the
And
70s, 80s punk rock, right?
yeah, yeah, and I know that we'll start to see it more and more throughout the series, but the Saturn symbol,
That's the Vivienne Westwood symbol, yeah.
yeah, the Vivian, yeah, the Vivian. I always say her first name wrong. The Westwood symbol. Almost everyone is wearing it. Like I
Mhm.
think Nana in this panel, where she's reminding Nobu that he better stop drinking because he has graduation tomorrow, and Nobu is their guitarist. Ren is
Yes,
the
he's a sweet
bassist.
boy.
Oh, he's lovely.
He's a
I
sweet
love
boy who
him.
has parents.
And he,
Nobody else has parents in the band, okay? And Yasu and Ren know each other from the orphanage. And Ren actually ran away from the orphanage to live in that warehouse thing.
hmm
And he used to hang out at Yasu's all the time. Yasu was adopted by a nice couple, and they actually offered to adopt Ren, and Ren refused.
yeah, that's yes.
So they've known each other since they were wee little guys.
Little guys, and
Um,
it's very sweet. It's like brothers.
and so Yasu is the only one that has parents. And he's also like he's younger than Ren. I believe
Yeah.
he's the same age as Nana, but like he's younger than Nana. Like that is a huge part of it because he didn't have to grow up too soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think they're the same age, but because parents and care and aren't his parents like kind of wealthy?
We do go over that this chapter because of the chapter. It's like in a couple pages, but yeah, so yeah, his parents own like what an inn, I think,
Yeah, they own an
that
inn.
he's inheriting, and
Yeah.
so um relative like he doesn't need for
Mm-mm.
anything like the rest of them do.
Yeah.
He has like that financial privilege to be able to choose his life right now, but it also comes with the responsibility of taking over the family business,
Yeah. Gotta be responsible. Boo. Just let me play
right?
music.
So Nobu's getting drunk
hmm
because they're excited though, and like you can tell that this is a ritual after their shows.
Yes.
Um, and they're joking about like graduation. Nobu's graduating. Ren and Nana obviously did not graduate.
hmm
Um, and Yasu's going to law school because Yasu.
Because he is a serious
I think he has like a
guy.
Scorpio rising, and he's got like a lot of Capricorn placements. I'm sure of it.
Oh no, I totally agree. Not us in this okay, so the last chapter we are diagnosing Hachi's mental state. This time is just going to be the rising is. What do you think?
Oh
Which is
man.
totally fine.
No, but like I also like I think that Hachi has a lot of Libra placements, the indecisiveness. Like
It's true. You're not wrong.
You know, the indecisiveness, but then also like that when that decision happens with Hachi, it's like I'm doing this and I'm going to do it good, even if like it doesn't end up going well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Yasu. So then
Yasu.
they're joking about, you know, the high brain. We have words, I swear. Yasu makes mention of seeing Nana in a school uniform and kind of chuckles. And Nobu like has this ongoing thing about Nana being scary. Because she
Mm-hmm.
is. She's well, it's like it's not like fearfully fright, like scary. It's the intimidation factor.
Yeah, which is, again, another aspect that I attribute to, well, you. I'm like, of course, terrifying, but like in the, oh no, must not approach. But weren't you like also shy in high school? Sorry, like super tangent. I'm like,
Oh, I mean, yeah, but like I transferred schools so many times.
yeah, I mean that's kind of what I get from Nana too. I'm like, but is she like, I mean, yes, that, but also isn't she seems shy as well? Like, I just want to get through this
It's
shit.
also like, yeah, I guess within the this part I wouldn't necessarily say is like the relatable aspect. Like, yeah, it's like you just don't want to deal with it because you don't know how long people are going to be around.
Yeah, which is
Um,
very sad.
yeah. So like there's that avenue. I mean, I have like a neurospicy brain. So like then there's that part of it, right? But
Hmm.
um it's just a matter of like not wanting to deal with it. Because like why?
Hmm. Right?
What's the point?
No,
Um Well, and I
no.
think that like, you know, everybody has like their experiences and that's what they bring to the table throughout the construction of self.
Yeah.
Um and you know, we get into why Nana dropped out of high school in a bit here and it was pretty horrific and it was pretty traumatic. And if she had already been being raised from a small child by a woman who did not show compassion
Hmm.
or teach her or show her how to be compassionate.
Yeah.
Um, and just showed her that the world is hard
Yes.
and just taught her that the world is hard. And was no nonsense, then, you know, what is that expectation in high school?
Same. The
Right?
same.
Right.
And then here comes, I guess, what the kids would call the cinnamon roll Nobu being like, let's be friends. Like
Nobu is cinnamon roll. Oh my goodness.
he's just he is so sweet. I think that's fun. He's he just kind of saw her and like, hey, let's be friends. And she's like, no. And he's like, please? She's like, no.
Right.
Oh my
Right.
God, fine. So
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, Nobu who definitely has like, I don't know, like he probably has like a Gemini sun, and it's probably, you know, somewhere around the seventh house, or fifth house, but I'm gonna say seventh house because it's just like this, I don't know. He's just like, hi, everybody
He
is my friend. Everyone is my friend.
Yes, and I that's why I like Nobu a lot because I'm like, everyone is friend. I totally get that.
Right? Everyone is friends. Like it's just let's just, you know, we're just all gonna be friends. It's gonna be nice.
We're gonna be
It's gonna be
friends.
nice.
And then of course, actually, that makes a lot of sense because like when betrayal things happen, he's like, "What the?" And he's just crushed.
Right, he's destroyed. Like he
Yeah,
gets destroyed when people get hurt in
yeah,
any way. Like he literally wants like he is the relief. I mean, we have the very stoic Yasu who takes care of all of the paperwork, right?
hmm
Um and we have Nana who needs to be taken care of by Yasu, right? And then we have Ren who will burn a building down just because. So like
yeah,
and then we have Nobu where he's like, hey guys, can you stop destroying stuff? Yasu! Like,
That's-
Mom
Yes.
and dad are fighting again.
Yeah. Make it better.
Right?
Make it better, please.
So Yasu gets drunk and then he screams, "Let's hear it for Blast," and falls into the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know, they kind of joke about leaving him there, but he'll totally freeze to death. And so they're like, "Oh," and here comes Yasu to the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "I'll take him home." Um, because, you know, um, and so then Ren and Nana go walking off. Well, at least start to, and Yasu stops them and is like,
Mm-hmm.
"Ren, wait." And he says, "I'll talk to Nobu." And he tells him and reminds him to make sure that he talks to Nana.
Yeah.
And then they joke about Yasu being a skinhead. And I do like get this implication that they mean like a bonehead, like the Hollywood version of like a racist skinhead. But I mean, in
Yeah.
reality, like skinheads are not racists. Like at all. Hollywood just spun the trope, you know?
Yeah, but then there's people that lean into it.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but those are boneheads. So, like, skinhead culture has a really rich culture of being actively anti-racist.
interesting. I didn't actually know that.
And it wasn't until American History X when it was written to be this other thing of like neo-Nazis. And in the skinhead community, those are called boneheads.
Mm.
Because skinhead culture started with the fusion of like reggae music and I'm not an expert on skinhead history by any way, shape, or form. Reggae music and the working class and the punk rock scene essentially, right? Blending
Hmm.
together and making two-tone music, right? Ska music.
Right.
And so the reason though that like they would shave their heads is because of the metal flakes getting stuck in their hair,
Yeah, it's
right? And then the working class shoe is a Doc Marten,
yes.
right? So it is working class culture.
Right.
And it has a very, very rich history in its waves and evolution as well. And the different groups and factions of like various, you know, branches of being a
Hmm.
skinhead, but they are actively anti-racist, or, you know, the term for being actively anti-racist is anti-fascist, and
Yeah.
then shortened to Antifa. So now we have some current propaganda.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that they mean like in a bad way, but they're making fun of him for being bald and getting a bald spot. But they always make fun of him for being bald because it's also just not really a common thing in Japanese culture to be bald,
Hmm.
you know? Like,
Yeah, no, not really.
and he's young,
Yeah.
right? And so then Nana starts to like gush about how much she loves playing live.
Hmm.
And um because like that's her thing. Like this is her thing.
Yeah.
She loves being up on stage. She loves singing.
Hmm.
She loves writing. She loves performing. She loves being able to hold that space for people.
Yeah.
Um and just right out the gate, that's how we're introduced to her.
Hmm. She does.
Um
She does say it's better than sex. Kind of. She's like, well, you
right.
know.
And then they kind of joke, like they flirtingly joke back and forth, because it's Ren and Nana, and
Hmm.
it's Ren and Nana, and
And we're gonna keep going.
we're
Yes,
gonna.
yes.
I totally turned the page. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I'm like, mm-mm, we're gonna. So they're out of that. What were they on? They were on like a subway, weren't they? Like
Yeah,
a
they were on like
train.
the train.
They're
Yeah,
on the
they were on the
train. Yeah.
train. And so now they're walking in the cold, and because it's winter, and I believe they live in like, is it like northern Japan area,
It's
right?
gotta.
In the
Yeah, it's gotta be.
mountains.
Yeah, it's gotta be somewhere. Because I'm just like, isn't it like always really cold where Nana
It's
O
winter most
lives?
of the time. Yeah, it's winter
Yeah.
most of the time. And so it's freezing, and so they check, you know,
They're just. I'm trying to look for something warm to
they're
cover
going through
themselves.
all of their gifts, their bags and bags of gifts.
Yeah, from their fans that they got, they have these two bags, and they're just like hucking things out of there looking for something warm. It's actually quite funny.
Right. And so then they find a handmade scarf with Ren's name on it, and it's big enough to wrap around both of them. And there's this adorable picture of them just like walking along the docks.
With their guitars and their goodie bags and just,
Mhm.
yeah, and their awesome
And
leather jackets.
right, they're very matchy. Um,
Yes.
and so then they head to their apartment, and we have one of the many classic tub scenes. The first
Mm,
classic tub scene at that.
yes.
Um, there's a lot of tub scenes. Nana O spends a lot of time in the tub,
Yes, that's facts. Like,
right? Like a lot of time. Like she is not smelly. She is not smelly.
no.
She
And
has good
Ren,
hygiene.
yes. I guess that means that Ren isn't either because they like bathe together and that's super cute.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that Ren doesn't smell like BO, but he smells like stale cigarettes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Smells like me. No, not
Oh.
really. I mean, I don't smoke inside, so you know, that's its own thing. But yeah, I imagine that he smells like stale cigarettes because he's always smoking and he does smoke indoors.
Hmm.
And I believe at this point in time, Nana is still smoking. Um,
Yes, I
because
think.
they all smoke Blackstones.
Hmm.
We do see a pack earlier on in one of the cells, and it's interesting because the cigarettes we know are called Blackstones.
Hmm.
Well, I guess we don't know that yet because we're getting to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Well, it's happened now, but the pack itself says Blast and not Blackstones, which I think is just like a fun little foreshadowing that Ayazawa threw in there.
Hmm.
Because it is a focus in on Yasu's pack of cigarettes, and it does say Blast on it.
Did I
Um,
miss that? I must have missed that in the background.
I
Anyway.
like I really combed through because like if
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
be like discussing, I'm like, oh, I have to actually like pay attention and not just autopilot read for the feels, like, you know.
True.
Um
I mean, yeah, I had that. I totally missed that though. But I do notice that like everyone else's cigarettes are like, white sticks, whereas
Mhm.
Yasu's are black sticks.
Yeah, he
So
smokes cloves. Yeah, Yasu smokes cloves.
like a proper
Um
punk. Hmm.
Right. Well, I mean, like, I feel like Yasu's way more like new wave, like, because the hat, you know, like
Yeah.
suits, like, I mean, he might even be like into ska. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
ska and new wave does kind of bleed together. But yeah, I feel like he's like less like of like general punk rock and more of this thing over here.
No, that's true. Welcome to the new podcast where we talk about music.
I mean, we can't talk about music if we don't like if we're talking about like the introduction of Nana O. It just kind of happens, right? It just kind of
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, that'll keep coming up more than likely because there will be music industry stuff later. So,
Yeah, I mean, like that's like this that's so much of the storyline though, right?
yeah, it is.
Is the bands,
Mm-hmm.
is the relationships between the bands too.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the tub, getting all sudsy,
Mm-hmm.
and they reminisce about how they first met. When they first met, there was a blizzard like this. So now we're gonna go down memory lane, learning how they met each other. And something I was thinking when I was rereading this, um, I'm like, are they having this discussion for me to know? Do they not know? Why are they talking about this as if they've never talked about it before?
I don't know. Sometimes, I mean, because Nate and I have been together for like 14 years at this point, but like we will frequently revisit conversations that we have had before about like, do you remember that time
No, no,
when
no.
we
It's the
met?
way that they're talking about it.
Oh, I get you. Okay.
Right? It's the way that they're talking about it as if it's like staged.
Mm.
Right? And I just that's probably my perspective in it, but like as I'm like reading it, I'm like, you know, he's so nonchalant, she's pushing the conversation, which I mean, granted. Um, but like I'm just like, are they having this conversation for us, the viewer? Is there like some uncanny valley shit that I'm not aware of going on?
I
Um,
mean, you gotta tell the audience what's up at some point. You gotta exposition dump a little bit, I suppose.
right? So they're discussing when they met, and that it was a Christmas show. So when they met, they met at one of Ren's shows,
Right.
and it was because of Nobu, of course. Um, and so they're kind of reminiscing, and he's like, "Yeah, it was a couple of years ago," and she like corrects him, like with the months and everything. And points out, like all the girls would always fall all over him, and it's when he was in his last band and all these things, and then he like opens one eye because his eyes are closed because they're sitting in the bathtub together. And he's like, "Yeah, you were wearing that red dress." The red dress is a really big deal,
Mhm.
right? And the red dress is such a big deal. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna.
Oh, no,
No, I mean,
I got
like,
this.
it's because I know the future.
I know. I know. I mean, I can. Yes, there is the that. No, it is a big deal actually.
Yeah,
Um,
the red dress is a pretty big deal.
is a big
For
big
a few
deal.
different reasons. And so like they're reminiscing about like her. He's like, "You wore the red dress," and she's like, "Oh, you remember?" And like she has this shocked look on her face, and so she's like, "Go on, like keep telling me about this."
Hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, you were standing in the crowd glaring at me." Um,
Which, yes.
yeah, and I'm like so relatable.
Right. I'm just like, again, just like, Kirsten, you say. All right.
So relatable. Um,
Like, look at that guy up
and he's
there.
like, "I couldn't figure out what you wanted. You were the most unimpressed audience member ever." Um, and Nobu dragged her backstage, and I guess she was really, really harsh. And when she introduced herself, she did not smile and just said, "I'm Nana." Um, and he's like, "You just couldn't be nice to me."
She,
And she's like, "I had a lot of going on."
yeah, I was like, look, yeah, there's a lot going on. And then
Right.
he brings up this whole thing about like her, the rumor that she was turning tricks at school.
Yeah. So the rumor as to why like she dropped out of school was because they started a rumor that she was a prostitute.
So messed
Um,
up.
and so then like she gets all feisty and she's like, "I was falsely accused. You stole my virginity." Um, and she was more or less bullied, right?
Hmm.
Because I mean, if you're antisocial, that just kind of happens.
Yeah.
I think that it happens less. I try to talk to Finn about it and how
Yeah.
bullying works at school. Um,
Right.
but
Oh, go kids.
I think that he might be cool and not know that he's cool.
That tracks for your son,
Right?
honestly.
Because he
Like,
just doesn't care.
no, he's so I can't believe how old is he now?
He's
He's like,
16.
oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, he just went to homecoming.
No.
He literally showed up and was like, "Mom, I bought a ticket to homecoming. It's tomorrow." And I'm like, "Excuse me? Oh, we have to go get you something to wear." And he's like, "Why? It's not extravagant." And I'm like, "Actually, it is. It's homecoming."
My goodness.
And
That's that.
he only
Mhm.
stayed for like an hour. And then he like came home and he's like, "Well, I did it. That was boring."
I figured he was gonna. I'm like, he was bored, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean,
He
no,
said it might be cool if he had a date, but otherwise. And I'm like, "Yeah, I tried to explain that to you. And maybe if you had talked to me before buying a ticket, I could have explained that better."
see here, Oberon. You see here.
Right? So funny.
We
So
gotta.
on a tangent. We're still in the bathtub.
We're still in the bathtub, but that's okay because they're.
But
This.
he points out that she was like really quiet and
Mhm.
now, she's pretty hot-headed. Um
Mhm.
and there's that drastic change though, and I think that confidence that hit, but she's still working through all of that. She's got a lot of pent-up aggression. Um
Mhm.
and he mentioned that she looked beat up. Like worn down, I think is the intended expression, or maybe like a poor translation.
Mhm.
Um and you know, she thought that things would only change if she left school. And
Mhm.
so with having to work for her grandmother and all of those things, and then she recognized that she needed money because her grandmother wouldn't pay her, but also like wouldn't like buy her clothes or any facets of self-expression in any way. Um, but
Maybe she like thought, maybe her grandmother thought like that if she did that, she would turn
she
into
would
her
turn out like her
mother.
mother. That's exactly
Yeah,
it. That's
yeah.
exactly it. So when the rumors came out, though, of her being a prostitute, and her grandmother found out, she did not correct it. She did not tell her grandmother otherwise. So uh, at this time, she admits that she blames herself for her grandmother's death,
Which is
because she
sad.
actively chose not to correct the rumor,
I mean,
and her grandmother fell sick from depression.
but isn't that kind of like goes to your point of like like why should like it's just exhausting like debunking a rumor is so
Right. Her
tedious.
her grandmother didn't have to believe it, right? So like there
Yeah.
is that devil's advocate aspect of it where her grandmother could have questioned it, but also didn't question it, right?
Hmm.
And if Nana wasn't allowed the freedom, if she was just going to school and working and didn't have means to go out, then her grandmother should have known that it wasn't
Right.
true.
Hmm.
But Ren stops her in that thinking and was like, "You didn't push her down the stairs." Um, so like it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
And Nana's like, I think that she lost the will to live.
Mm.
And she regrets not denying the speculations about
Hmm.
um, you know, her doing that. And a lot of that is because of how, her mother dropped her off.
Yeah.
And, I think that's a part of growing up, though. Like, and I think that's so much of what Ayazawa depicts for us in all of the various stories are these points in growing up and somehow can sensationally place the feelings that go
Hmm.
into that. And you see this perspective shift in this conversation of the regret of not correcting that, of her grandmother dying without knowing. And, the way that Nana reflects on it, even though she's angry and she's mad about these things, she does see the humanity in her grandmother's choices.
Yeah.
Um, and it goes to an image of her mother dropping her off.
That image is
Um,
interesting to me because she's kneeling down and like holding her hand. And
mhm,
I mean, there's things that'll happen later, which this image to me seems very,
that she's gonna come back.
yeah, like is incongruous the word that I want? Like with what I can't spoil it, but like for things to come later, like this image here is yeah, very much just like it's okay, honey, like don't worry, like I'll definitely, be a good girl for grandma and I'll be back. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like she's just dropping her off for like the weekend. Like
Yeah.
that's the image that we're being given. And her grandmother never let her wear pink or red.
No, because
Because
too
those
sexy.
colors seduce men.
It
Those
does.
colors seduce men. So this is also part of the reason why, that dress is so important. Um,
But Ren thinks that's hilarious, though. He's like, nah,
right?
seducing men, you say.
Right, exactly. And Nana wanted to like dress cutesy and stuff, and she
Hmm.
wasn't allowed to. Um, but after losing her grandmother and she was all alone, she decided to buy herself that red frilly dress.
I wonder how much it will
Um,
cost.
well, probably quite a lot,
Yeah.
considering. And but she was like really excited because like it was the first time that it's a weird mark of freedom, like, and it's also like a mark of grief, right? Like that
Yeah.
it's so layered, like just
Hmm.
the dress alone and how much symbolism is placed in it
Hmm.
from so many different streams of the story. um And then Ren jokes about how, her grandma was right because he was seduced in the frilly red dress.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, that's what did it.
Right? Um, I mean, and then, we have some touching scenes,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah. Um,
Hmm. Groping
and
in the
she,
bathtub.
right, right. And so like she talks about how like she was wearing that dress under a jacket in a blizzard because like that's how this nostalgic moment came into place because there's a blizzard outside and so they're walking down memory lane. And so now we go back in time into Nana's memories and she's with Nobu and Nobu is taking her to a concert to meet a really cool guy, i.e. Ren.
Yes. Yes.
And so she's pretty much just like, whatever, I don't care. Like, Nobu, shut up. Like, Nobu, just stop. Like, Nobu, no. Like, Nobu, it doesn't actually matter. I'm just here to see the band. Like, ugh. And so he's like trying to talk Ren up, being like, but Ren is older. And like, he's also like had a problematic life like you have, pretty much, right? Because he's an orphan. And, talk about this is where we get Ren's backstory a little bit. In that, he was abandoned in a warehouse. He ends up in an orphanage. And then he ran away to live in that warehouse. And that's where he claims his birthplace. And he also brags about it because he wants to be a rock star. And so having that type of shady like past is a really good story. And especially with like J-pop and K-pop, like a lot of those life stories are made up. I mean, even here, like in the States, you know what I mean? Like they'll paint pictures of famous people's stories where it's a persona, it's a character. And in Ren's case, it's not a character. It just sounds like one. And he knows he can use that to his benefit. But,
I mean, Nana's not really having.
No, Nana's not having it. She's like this
No.
lame.
And I mean, again, hate to keep doing this, but like that's like when he's just like he's marketing his personal misfortune and trying to buy pity. How lame! And I'm like, is this something Kirsten would say if she was like 17-year-old Nana?
Yeah, I absolutely would. I was a bitch. I hated everything. Like literally everything. And even if it was cool, I would be like, yeah, but you're lame for liking it. Like,
oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was horrible. I was so horrible. I mean, I still do shit like that though. Where I'm
It's a
just
good.
like,
I mean, it would have been interesting if we had been like friends in high school. Could have been like, I'd be like, look at this thing that's super lame that I'm into, but like actually lame because no one likes this except me.
right? But like but see, those were the parts. Those were the parts that mattered. So, I just hated everything. I still kind of hate everything. I'm a devil's advocate when it comes to literally everything. Okay, so we're on Nana thinking that Ren is lame, and then she sees Ren.
And then she sees him and
then she sees him.
Oh my god, like
right?
it isn't this one, but there is a particular shot of Ren, not this one in particular, but there's another one I've thought about getting tattooed at one point because I was like, oh, Ren.
Right? Just yeah, but like I don't need him on my body because I don't cry every time I see him.
You put it somewhere you're like, I don't look there often.
I'll know. It'll seep into my body. It'll seep.
Oh, fair. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I can do it. I can do it. So anyway, she sees Ren. She sees him. And she thinks, but the guy on stage nailed me to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she's just standing there. And like, obviously she's the only one drawn in the crowd, of course, right? And he's up there doing his little performance. All the ladies are freaking out and screaming. And she's like going back over the story that Nobu had told her about him and that this is the guy who was abandoned in the harbor warehouse district. And that's the story that he brags about. And then it pans into their eyes and she's staring at him. He's smiling. She's still like scowling. Like she's not just staring at him, she's scowling at him. And then he makes eye contact with her. Like she's like piercing through him.
Yeah, she's looking to the back of his head for sure. That is like an assessing gaze.
Like I need to see your soul.
Yes. Show me your soul. Speaking of music, Red Hot Chili Peppers reference, I think. I hope I got that
think.
right.
I think. I
Nate will be
don't.
disappointed if I, because that's one of his favorite songs. I'll be like, oh, how do you
Um.
know? I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Nate, if she got it wrong, write it in the comments.
Yeah, do that for me, honey. Thank you.
And so then we're still in her head and she's reminiscing what came over me that night. I don't know how to say it. It wasn't so simple as love or desire, more like jealousy, envy, a sense of uneasiness and need. This animalistic, darling. That's what that
Yeah,
is.
like why jealousy though? Like that's the one that I have never been able to figure out. Like, are you
Because
jealous?
he's on stage, because she didn't realize or recognize that that's what she desired.
Okay, because I'm like, is that what it is? I thought that's what it is, but I was like, okay, it's got to be the
Yeah,
stage
it's the
thing.
presence. Yeah. And like the thing is I've never taken Nana as just wanting to be like a stage whore, essentially.
Mm,
Um, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like I feel like her personality, it's not necessarily about the fame as much as it is about the desire to be seen and loved,
hmm.
right?
Yeah, I can see
Um,
that.
and so like that jealousy, I think, is the presence
Hmm.
that he was able to hold.
Yeah.
And being envious and not even, I don't even think at this point in time that she knew even where to place those feelings sensationally.
Well, not of, especially if they're new feelings.
Right. Right. But also like I don't even know if it would, I don't know, could you also, I guess you could be jealous of not being able to be with someone and not understand that it's jealousy. Not jealous of another person who is with them,
Hmm.
but even of like the air or the space around them. I
That's
guess that's
intense.
right. Well, like she says, a need,
Yeah, there is a
right? She
yeah.
needs, right? And so then we move on back to the shower or the bathtub, and they're doing it.
My favorite panel. Hey.
Literally, I've decided that I'm always just gonna whisper, doing it.
That's
But
that's a yeah, that's understandable.
like they like, but Ayazawa even writes it as like the character saying, doing it. And that's part of the reason why
Mhm.
I say it because I think it's so funny.
Which by the way, guys, maybe don't do it in a soapy bathtub. I think it's bad for you. It's
I
not
don't
good.
even think that that's really soap. I don't even know.
Are you
I
sure?
don't.
Like it always looks soapy to me, and I'm
But it
just
also
like,
wouldn't it
it's
depend on the
not
soap?
good.
Like, wouldn't it depend on the soap?
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I guess like I've
Like soap in the States, absolutely not. Anything that's labeled fragrance, don't
yeah,
do it.
that's what I'm
Fragrance
wondering.
fragrance is not FDA like classified. And so it has petrochemicals and yucky waste
True. Just yeah.
that they
Mm-mm.
brand as fragrance because they can get away with it. So
Right.
don't do it like that.
Yeah,
Okay? No doing it in fragrances.
no.
Um,
The subtitle for the the episode.
no doing it in fragrances.
No doing it fragrances.
Oh
But
man.
seriously, don't though. It's very, very bad for vaginas. Um,
Yeah, no,
actually,
don't. Yeah, don't do the things. It's just your pH. Your pH.
yeah. I mean, and for boys too. You know, like for
Also,
anyone,
they're like
anybody.
anybody. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't. Ugh, that's a fucking rabbit hole all by itself.
I know.
Uh,
It's
and so then she thinks to herself that she still gets insecure sometimes.
we all do. Relatable, dear. Very
Right,
relatable.
right. Maybe the jealousy is Ren's confidence.
I mean, he does have an
Ren is
easy air.
insanely confident.
He is. It's well, yes. No, we'll
Does he
get
have a
there.
Capricorn moon? I bet you he has a Capricorn moon. He does not care.
Probably.
He doesn't
Probably.
care.
Yeah. He's
Like that's the air of confidence that he holds. He cares, but he doesn't let anybody know he cares. And like it's so deep. And like
mm,
he's bad at expressing emotion. I bet you he has a Capricorn moon.
mm,
To make like little sun, moon, and rising like memes.
yes. Yes, that would be
for the
yes.
characters.
Yes.
And that would also be fun. I would enjoy that.
Yes, and then you can like put it on the Instagram.
Instagram,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then people that will know will be like, "Yep. Yep. That's true."
Right. Um, so yep, we have this lovely classic bathtub scene. And then she's still in her head and the insecurity, and she's still going on about those thoughts. And it's because it feels like every day with Ren is just a dream. It feels unreal. Her reality feels unreal. Which I also like, I know I'm gonna be terrible in saying this, but I think that's a trauma response.
Oh, you
Ungrounded.
mean
Yeah, when you think that you're
oh,
like that you're not worthy of the world that you live in when you have something good happen. And that
yeah.
the ceiling's always going to crash in.
Yeah, yeah, yep. I mean,
Hmm.
I've seen that with a lot of people. A lot of people that I meet talk to me about that, everything is there's that like trepidation of like everything's really great. I'm like, then what?
When things are good, they don't feel safe.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, why do you feel so nervous then? And they're just like, something's gonna happen. And I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah,
you've had trauma.
yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then they usually tell me yes. They're like, yes, yes, I do actually. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my brain is bruised. Thanks. I think that, well, I mean, our generation is the first generation to actually like get therapy and not be ashamed of it. So
True.
that's a big part of it. Like we're more willing to not just hide all of these things in closets, right?
Yeah. Healthy.
Right,
Yay.
exactly. Exactly. So she goes on to talk about how Ren is too glamorous for the mundane life that she'd be living. Like she thinks that I don't know. It's not necessarily a pedestal, it's her own insecurities coming out.
Okay. I'm like, you sure that looks very much like a pedestal, but
Yeah, I don't personally see it as a pedestal. I think it's her insecurities.
hmm.
Um, Personally, like
I mean,
because
that's fine. Yeah.
right, I feel like, and I've been in relationships where I'm just like, I just want to observe you. You don't seem real. Like, what are you even doing here? And it doesn't necessarily mean that I have put this person on a pedestal, um, or that I think that they're quote unquote too good for me.
Mhm.
Um, it's more of like this curious wonder of how do you even exist? You seem mythic. Okay, so yeah, Ren has like he has some Sagittarius placements.
Yeah. This is happening. Yay.
Um, and so she goes on to say, no matter how I've struggled, I come up lacking still. So that part, see, that's what seals it for me within this is her own insecurity. It's not placing him higher. Sure, she's comparing. She's like, why is this dude with me?
Yeah.
You know, he's got great things. And it's also like, I feel like this is also her intuition telling
Hmm.
her what's going to happen.
Mm.
Gigi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's very intuitive thoughts.
I think that that's very interesting that we have like um different takeaways from that too, because I'm on the other side where I do feel she's like doing a pedestal, but like in my relationships, I have put people on pedestals. People that I love deeply are always on pedestals in my head. And um that's where they are. And there is an observation thing that I do with them, and then of course if they ever tumble from the pedestal, then I am sincerely heartbroken because I'm
Right.
Nobu.
Because I'm Nobu.
Because I'm Nobu, and I just it hurts every time. But yes, people that I've just deeply deeply been in love with or have any deep affection for are always on pedestals in my head, and I know that's not healthy,
Right.
but it's it's just how I do. I think people are shiny and pretty and wonderful that I love deeply. So,
Right. Yeah,
and they can do no wrong because they're shiny and pretty. So,
that's fair. Um, yeah, I mean, I can see that part of it also, as long as you also put yourself on an equal playing field.
mm,
Uh, right?
I mean, I
That part,
suppose
that
I,
part's the problem.
that's it's like no, equal. Nuh-uh.
Right,
I'm
right.
down here with my dolls and my fan fiction, and
Fair, actually valid. That's
and
I'm here for that part. It's okay. They can go
oh,
ahead and
good.
be skyscrapers. That's cool.
That's yeah. Um,
Sounds more fun down there in hell. Uh,
I mean, yeah, everyone else can yeah, you guys can be the super cool adults doing all the big wonderful things. I'm like, I understand about these two characters that I read in a book. Would you like me to tell you about my hyperfocus? So,
Valid. I would say that's valid. I'll put you on a pedestal. It's okay.
aw.
We got this. Now it's on a level playing field, but it's still you can have a little, you know, it's a
That's
field
fair.
full of them. It's a field full of pedestals. Okay.
That's fair. I think that's probably that's better. It's better than
Right? Balance. It's all about balance.
I know.
Um, so Nana, after coming out of her like headspace of thought, she says that I wish we could do it in a bigger place. And Ren automatically thinks to, the bathtub being too small, and she's like, no, playing a show, like a bigger like arena, a bigger stage, like mind in gutter, still in bathtub.
Yes, which I don't know. I think that's very funny. He's like, "Yeah, bathtub's too small," and she's like, "Oh my God, seriously?"
Right? She's over here dreaming about like her beautiful future after like beating herself up mentally. And he's like, yeah, the bathtub's too small. Um,
Too cool. He's way too
right?
cool.
No, but he's so cool. He's so cool.
He's
He just
so
is,
pretty.
right?
Hmm.
So, right? Right? So Nana brings up what was Yasu talking about?
Yeah, like that thing.
And Ren automatically goes into like his little bald spot because that's the joke, as to why he shaved his whole head. And Nana's like, whatever, I'll just ask Yasu. And I
Mhm.
gotta take my drugs. Drugs as in her birth control. And so then we have this conversation because, well, I mean, Ayazawa herself is, I don't want to say a feminist because like that word has now been like spun out in so many different ways of the different waves of feminism. But Ayazawa does believe like in the right to choose and all of those aspects politically, as far as we know, we can see that through various aspects of not just this story but other stories.
Yeah.
And so like this is also like just a pressing point of like because he's like, I wouldn't mind having kids. And Nana's like, I want to live my life. We can't do that. That wouldn't work for us.
Hmm.
In reality, it wouldn't work for her. Right. And so then there's this back and forth conversation about that. And
Yeah.
and she's like, I want to play music and have a life. And so then he leans over because they're in bed and kisses her and then hugs her. And then he's like, Nana, I'm going to Tokyo. Um, so you can do what you can have whatever life you want.
Which is not it's a little jarring, which obviously
Right?
by
That's a statement of you can have
her.
whatever life you want.
But what does that mean?
Right.
Like what
Right.
does that
What does
mean?
that mean? But like we also have to keep in mind that like Ren knows Nana. They know each other. This
Yeah.
isn't a Shoji and Hachi situation,
Oh no, no, not at
right?
all.
They know each other. They lived together for over a year. They've known each other for over 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And they're young, sure. And like when you're young, that's a lot of time.
Hmm.
Um, and
But
so, but she's just like shocked.
yeah. But the I mentioned it but before to myself actually when I'm thinking about this chapter, it's just like Junko and Hachi and all those kids over there in the first chapter, like they from what I can tell, they all have stable families. and these characters do not.
Right. It's yeah, they're the opposites.
Yeah,
The
so
two
it's
Nanas are the opposites, therefore their worlds are as well. Like
yeah.
they're literally an eclipse when they come together.
Yeah, and it's just kind of interesting to watch the, the first half of it. We're like, oh, we're young, we're figuring out what we want to do, we're going to go to art school and all this kind of, stuff there. And it's all like this, and but these kids are like, we were adults at like 6.
Right. We grew up backwards
Y-
essentially.
Yeah, so it's like we're mapping our stuff out too. It's just it's much different than the others.
Yeah.
These feel like adults. I don't know, like Nana O and her friends actually feel like adults.
They are
Where
adults, so they're taking care of themselves. It's
yeah.
like aside from Nobu.
Oh,
Sweet little Nobu.
sweet Nobu.
Nobu's so sweet.
Which I
Nobu's so
mean,
sweet.
speaking of Nobu, there's this so like the panel here of just Nana's shocked eyes looking up at black
Mm-hmm.
nothingness, like bleeding down into the seascape, and Nobu and
Dude,
Yasu.
no, I absolutely love this panel. Like, I love this panel. I think that this panel is gorgeous.
It is beautiful. It's also very. I've always thought it was incredibly sad too,
It
because
is.
just.
It's so sad because like that's the look on her face that she's having when Ren says, "So you can have whatever life you want." It's the same look, just a different perspective. And then underneath her because she becomes the sky.
Mhm.
It's Yasu talking to Nobu.
Yeah, and telling him basically what uh Ren just told Nana, but I think in more detail.
Yeah, not as abrupt.
E- Yeah.
Not as abrupt.
I mean, I guess it is.
Yeah, Yasu's totally a mod. That's what it is. Yasu's a mod.
He's got to be, because like I know he's breaking it gently to
No, like a
Nobu
mod is in
here.
like the Fringe musical scene.
Oh.
So I was trying to place that. Yasu's totally a mod.
Oh,
Okay, I get that now. Like I got it. I got it.
I was like, mediator, yes, of course.
But yeah, also he is multifaceted.
Yeah, very. He's just telling Nobu's a Toko, but even Nobu, I guess this is Nobu's first act of like, what? What do you mean? Like, when was this gonna happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Um and so he's like, so now what? Are you gonna drop out of college?
Yeah.
And Yasu's like, not me, Ren.
Hmm.
Um And it's like, well, how did you miss that part? But Yasu explains what's going on, and that Ren was asked to be in a rival band, called TRAPNEST,
Hmm.
and so then Nobu kind of freaks out, in a weird way because he's like, oh, like essentially that's a great band. They have a great girl singer, like lead
Hmm.
girl singer, and Yasu explains that they used to be drinking buddies. And they all moved to Tokyo, like that band did. They were a rival band,
Hmm.
within the same like township, essentially. And Nobu's like, huh, they're really good.
Yeah.
Like he's like his wheels are like turning. Like, huh, that's actually really cool, but at the same time, like he's like trying to figure out the puzzle pieces. Like
Yeah.
he's in his own form of Nobu shock.
Yep.
Um and but like Yasu's just like really casual, like still very few words, just like, yeah, dude, like they asked Red to join, like that's catch up.
I mean, yes. This I know he's telling him all this, and like, well, so what was it? Like they had another guy who played bass, but there were like, what is that, like irreparable differences, so that guy bounced.
Yeah. um yeah, I think that their bassist quit. I think that's why.
Yeah,
um
for Trap Nest.
for Trap Nest, yeah.
Yeah, so then they asked
um they asked
Ren,
Ren
and
because like
he said yes.
but Ren isn't gonna play bass in TRAPNEST. I think he plays guitar because Takumi plays bass.
Oh, that's right. Whoops, I forgot.
And
I'm like, well, I know he plays the bass here. He plays guitar.
right, he also plays the guitar. So I think he's playing the guitar in TRAPNEST. And Takumi plays bass because Takumi also writes all the music.
Mm-hmm.
Takumi.
Takumi, you're bad. I'll just
He and lawful evil.
evil. Yeah, I know.
And so he explains that like Ren already. Did he say that Ren left this morning?
No, you see, yeah, I see. He left this morning to meet with their
The producer
producer
in
in
Tokyo. That's
Tokyo.
right.
Yeah,
Um,
but they already know.
and that he's coming
So,
back tomorrow.
mm-hmm.
Um,
And
and so now it dawns on Nobu.
I
What about
mean,
the band?
Nobu's reaction is honestly my reaction. I'm just like, what?
First, trying to figure out what exactly is going on.
Yeah, but it's like, what the hell? I mean, this is, essentially him being like, well, he's gonna leave our band, which I'm like, hmm, couldn't
Right.
they have found someone else besides Ren to play the
No, because Ren is amazing and Ren wants to be famous anyway. And how are they supposed to get to Tokyo if Ren doesn't go to Tokyo?
band? I have so many answers. I'm like, he could not go to Tokyo and he could just, hang out with Nana some more.
But I mean, like the same thing has to happen in Nana's life that's happening in Nana's life.
I know.
They're mirrors. They're a mirror image of each other.
I know.
I know, I know, I know. It's a whole thing, but like it's also just that opportunity. And
I know.
it's like but Nobu was just thinking about like the band and that they've been together for a year and a half and that he can't believe it because they were actually like finally getting somewhere. And Yasu's like, it's not a big deal, we can find a new bass player.
Mm.
And Nobu is like Nobu just doesn't get it. Like he doesn't understand because he's feeling abandoned.
Again, honestly, that his reaction, my reaction, he's like, why would he screw us like this? I'm like, exactly. Why would he screw you like that? And I know Yasu comes in just, being, he's like, well, it's stupid if Ren just like stays here in a stale old town forever, wasting away. It's like, but he wouldn't necessarily waste away. Stop being rational, Yasu. I want to be mad at Ren.
Right. Right, exactly. Well, he wants to be mad at somebody about it, right?
Yeah.
And Yasu's just like, this is Ren's chance.
Mm-hmm.
And see, here's the panel. I was thinking of it out of order, but see the panel that says blast on it.
That's his blast. Blast cherry.
Right. Even though like the cigarettes are Blackstones, which I thought that was just like a fun little like Easter egg.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like Nobu doesn't understand because it's the privilege aspect. And this is something that, Yasu points out that Nobu has a future. This is Ren's maybe only chance
Yeah.
at a future, right? And TRAPNEST just got signed. So like this might be Ren's only opportunity at something like this.
Yeah.
And Nobu doesn't have to stress about that. Nobu wants it for different reasons, right? And they all want it for something different. But like, and Yasu doesn't even care because he's just like, I have a separate career. And he explains that like, this is a side project. The band is a side project for Yasu. And that he doesn't want the instability of music.
Yeah.
And so then Nobu's like, well, what about Nana?
Yeah.
And are they gonna like break up essentially? And or is he taking it with him? And like then Nobu starts freaking out about that. And Yasu, I'm sure very calmly and stoically explains, that Nana will make her own choices. Like she can make her own choices. It's not reliant on Ren. And that it's up to Nana. And Nobu's like, Yasu, you're so mature.
Yeah. And then, well, he calls him a kid. He's like, nah, you're
Right.
such a kid. Like,
Right.
that's because you're like this.
But Yasu says that if Nana moves to Tokyo with Ren, that Blast will break up.
Yeah.
Um, and that without Nana, Yasu will quit for good
Yeah.
because he loves her.
Hmm.
But also,
Yeah.
if it's just a hobby for him and like it's kind of like this is the only person I want to do this with. Like there are different types of love, right?
Yeah. I guess so like before when I was talking about like my suspicion about Yasu, this is kind of like on my read, I think it was last year, or year before last, this is where like my suspicion started to creep in. I'm like, so did you tell Ren to go to TRAPNEST because that would give you a clear window to Nana? You know what I mean?
See, like I don't think that Yasu would think that way. Like at
I
all.
mean, you're probably right. I'm just like, hmm.
I think that Yasu though would encourage Ren to go
Yeah.
because Ren doesn't have because this is Ren's future. This is Ren's talent. This is who Ren is. And
Yeah.
these types of opportunities, they don't just come up, right?
Hmm.
Being able to walk into a band that already has a huge record deal when you're in a punk rock band in the middle of nowhere,
Hmm.
anywhere in the world, is a big deal, right? And I feel like Yasu would just support that, like whatever you want to do. But like this is an amazing opportunity. He'd probably encourage him to go for him.
I mean, I know you're probably right just because it's Yasu and he just is like that. It's just we also don't get to see inside of Yasu's head, and I'm a suspicious bitch. So
Right.
to me, I'm just like, okay, cool. But like I said, this was just an idea that occurred to me like the last time that I read this. So I was just like, wait a minute.
Right.
This whole parting of the ways would not have happened if he didn't go, a friend wasn't like, what do you think? And Yasu was like, yep, yep, cool, yes, go. Good. Good for you.
Right.
And it leaves
So,
your ex here, but that's just me.
no, absolutely. And so like Yasu explains that that happens though, then it's up to Nobu if he still wants the band to go on and that um that's this new perspective.
And you're like, you
That
gotta find new band members. I'm like, no,
right,
that's a terrible idea.
right? But yeah, it is a terrible idea. And then like we go back in time to Nobu's perspective. So Ren is
Hmm.
going to Tokyo
He
and
is.
Yasu is doing damage control with Nobu.
Yeah.
Because as we kind of discussed, Nobu's attachment to the situation is very different than the other members of the band.
Hmm.
Because he doesn't, I really do think that it comes down to is he doesn't have that isolated independence
Yeah, that's true.
as the other members do, because he's never really needed it,
Mm-mm.
right? He's never needed to survive.
Yeah.
And so this is pretty like, I mean, it's crushing for all of them, but like for Nobu, I think that it's socially crushing more so.
Oh, for sure. I mean, then in the panel previous before we actually have like him going into his own flashback, he just has the most like not defeated, but like
Yep.
lost look on his face. Like,
Yeah.
what now? Like, this is my family. I don't know.
Mhm.
You're all leaving me. Um, Meanwhile, all these other characters are like, oh yeah, abandonment, we're used to this. Like, this is
Right. Yeah. It's like, oh, cool. Okay. We just add it to the list of why I don't trust anybody ever and why I have to do everything on my own.
right. But Nobu, that's not his thing. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, poor baby.
Yeah. I know. I know. Because he's such a sweet boy.
He's
He's a little
super
soft
sweet.
boy. He's such a
He
soft boy.
is.
He's a soft boy before soft boy was a term.
That is true. He's lovely. I've never read any negative comments about Nobu. Most people are like, he must be protected. We love him.
Right. I mean, I would say Nobu is secondary to Yasu when it comes
Mhm.
to not being problematic.
Yes, that's very true.
And I only say that because Nobu's kind of needy.
Mm. Yeah,
And I mean, I
little.
also I also think that he should have fought harder for Nana, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we will definitely get there. I think I have opposing opinions, but I have so many conflicting thoughts about
It's
character.
because Takui's hot.
Yeah,
That's all. That's it. It's because Takui's hot.
yeah. Well, that does factor into it, but I do have feelings about like Nobu and his future relationships in the manga because I'm like, but I want this, but I also want this, and
Right? I think that Hachi should just have all of them.
fair.
She needs that many anyway,
That's true.
right?
That's hmm
To fill all the different needs of Hachi.
that is facts. Do you think like this is kind of a side quest, I suppose? Do you think that she would be cool in like polycule situation? Like, is that what she needs?
I mean, yeah, I think that Hachi would really benefit from being in a multi-partner relationship, but she would have to be the center. And so
Hmm.
like it would be within like I don't know, I envision that she would actually yes, really benefit from having multiple partners because
Hmm.
they would fill different needs for her because like obviously she can't be with Nana,
Right.
right?
Yeah, even
And
though that could be
so
platonic. You said that last
well, I
time it
mean, but
could be
also in a poly
platonic and cool.
relationship, it doesn't mean that that all your partners are sexual,
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like I just think that she would definitely benefit from being in like a multi-partner home
Hmm.
or like a type of structure that was communal living.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I
Mm.
just yeah, I think that it would just really I think that she would benefit from that emotional support from different avenues.
Hmm. No, for sure. Because that's a she needs a lot of love.
Just like extra squishimals.
Yes. Agreed.
That's the answer for everything. More squishimals.
More squishimals.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So as Nobu is in like his sad state, he has, as we're seeing a lot, we're revisiting memories. And so we're revisiting Nobu's perspective of the band being born.
Hmm.
And they're sitting, I don't know whose room they're sitting in. I think that they're sitting in Nobu's room.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Nana brings a record or a CD back to Nobu. So,
Hmm.
and I mean, it's a really big, nice room. So I would also assume that it's Nobu's. Oh, it says Nobu's room.
Yeah.
She, golly.
In the Terashima Inn.
Yeah, it literally tells us. I'm great. I'm great at this. But Ren asked him if he wants to be in a band. And um and Nobu's kind of perplexed, like, why? What happened to your other band? And Ren
Yeah.
is just like, we broke up, and they were essentially trash, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's oh, doesn't he ask oh, he's saying that Yasu told him that he knows that Nobu can play guitar and that he's really good.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
honestly, Nobu's face would be my face because again, Yasu and Ren are super cool. And if super like cool dudes were like, "Do you want to be in a band?" I'd be like, Me?"
right.
And
Yeah, and they're
that's
older. They're older.
yeah, those worldly men.
But Nobu is like
So
15 or 16 here, and then they're like 2 years older.
yeah,
So 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there. Because we don't know actually how old Yasu is, or if Yasu is slightly older than Ren. Do
I
we?
I don't actually remember, but he's always felt
Yeah,
older than
yeah,
Ren to me.
yeah. Same.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, he could also be the same age and just again have that like,
Right. I
yeah,
think they are the
yeah,
same age because they grew up together.
yeah. That's very true.
But yeah, Yasu just he feels older.
Hmm. He's like he's the cool older brother, you know,
Right. Yeah,
super chill.
definitely. So hot. I'm just like Yasu. It's Yasu.
I
Yasu's
mean,
just he's a chill, good dude.
yeah,
I'm here
he
for
is.
it. Yeah. I'm here for that. Um
So he's just like, oh yeah. He's like, well, you still play, right? Because they're like, oh, you haven't played guitar for a while. And he's like, no. Nobu's like, I'm practicing. Like, yeah, and I write my own songs. Like, let's do this.
Well, and he says
Um,
he can play all of Ren's songs.
yeah, that too.
Um, so like that's a big part of it because like obviously Ren is like a major pillar
Hmm.
for Blast, right?
Yes.
I mean, they all are. They all have their like piece and their part, but like Ren is the rock star.
Hmm. And
Um, and so then they discuss that they want a girl lead singer.
yeah, because apparently dudes bring drama, which I think is interesting, but also when I think about bands that I like that are kind of in this vein, I'm like, that tracks. Somehow
Right.
that really tracks.
Well,
So,
and like the way that they're just like, yeah, and if she can sing, and if she's hot, that'd be cool too. It's just like they don't even care if she can sing or anything. They're just like, we just need a girl.
yeah.
That's it. We just need a girl lead singer. She doesn't have to be talented. We just need one.
We just need one, yeah. And then they commission Nobu
They
to
asked him.
yeah, and Ren's just like yes, find us a girl, Nobu, like a foxy one, and he's like, "What? Oh, I mean, what about all the girls that are around you, Ren? Like, surely one of those. We can pick one from one of them." And Ren is like, absolutely not. Um, that would be very detrimental because if I was, there would be more drama. I'm trying to get away from drama.
Right, right. Well, and then like a relative of Nobu's comes up and is like, "Hey, your friend is here. Can she come up?" And they're automatically like, "It's a girl. Is she hot?" Like
Like all of
just
it, yeah.
like what? Huh? You know one? You know one? Like it's like this foreign entity,
A hot girl. I've never seen the like.
right? And then Nobu's like, "You know Nana." And Nana's standing in the door and they're both like looking over. And
Hmm.
the next page, Nana's look of shock and Ren being like, "Huh?"
Hmm.
And you know, it's this whole thing of just being like, "Oh,
It's
we're
that
back."
guy. Yeah.
Right? But she's just like, "What the fuck?
Hmm.
What is this?" And then she looks like awkward and kind of guilty, right?
Hmm.
And then she's like, here Nobu, I have your CD, I borrowed it. And I gotta get going. Like she's just like, and here, goodbye.
Yeah, sure. I can't be here right now. There's far too many good-looking men in this room, more specifically Ren.
Right? Ren is here. Ren is here, and I was a bitch.
I mean, yeah.
Um, and so Ren is like, have you ever gone to karaoke with her? Like, can she sing? Um, and I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
also, like, Yasu's the one that says, yeah, actually. When
Mm.
did that happen?
I don't is that him saying that, or is that just like they had to put the speech bubble over there?
No, it's gotta be. It's gotta be because I mean, I don't know. I assume why else would Yasu be right there with the speech bubble coming out of his mouth?
Maybe because they want to have this cool shot of him looking at that Sex Pistols CD that she just dropped off.
That's
Because
possible too. But
that's
I mean, because Yasu's hot, it's fine.
yeah,
If he
that's fine.
didn't say it, if he did say it, it's all right. He deserves the space in the panel.
That's fair. Well, well, now running away
Right?
now.
I was gonna say, speaking of separation, she like straight up is just like, and out.
She's just
And
bolting away from her feelings. Great coping
right,
mechanism.
right? I mean, yeah, like, and is it just feelings? I mean, it could also just be attraction.
Yes,
Like
yes.
all of these things welling up in her like 15, 16-year-old body. I mean,
Mhm.
it's its own thing, right? Um, and is that's about how old they are, right? When they
Think so.
first start the band.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when they graduate, or when Nobu graduates high school, obviously they're 18.
Like 18. Yeah.
Um, and so this is when they're still in high school, and they were in the band for like over 2 years.
Like a 2 years,
Something like
so
that,
yeah.
right? Yeah. The Nana time is weird.
Because it
She
goes back and forth.
and it actually doesn't line up. I've been trying to make a timeline and I'm like,
Oh no.
that was a bad decision. So
Jeez.
she's running through the forest and talking about how um from that day forward of seeing him, of making eye contact in that moment in Nobu's bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
Ren became a gravitational pull for her.
Yeah.
And while she's thinking these things, because like this is a voiceover, I think, of memories, even though it's supposed to be Ren's flashback or Nobu's flashback. But
Mm-hmm.
Ren reaches out and she's got like this ribbon around her neck and grabs it and stops her and is like, I want you to sing in our band. Like it doesn't have anything to do with like his feelings. He's just like, you there, sing.
Mm-hmm. And that's the yellow ribbon that she likes to tie around the microphone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But like that's also like something that she obviously deeply desires,
Mm-hmm.
is to do that. And she even says this is like it's a part of her inner desires. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next page, like she's on stage with that same plaid ribbon around the microphone, and the band is together and performing.
Mm-hmm. And I love that outfit she's wearing.
Right? It's so much fabric.
It is, and it's great. I love
It
it.
is. It's wonderful. It's so wonderful.
And no one can like see it. It's kind of like bustled a bit, but pulled up so you can see like her stockings, and she's
Mm-hmm.
wearing her big chunky boots, and that's
Right?
great. I love it.
I took a screenshot so we can post it.
Oh, good, cool. Yes,
Yeah.
good.
Um, and so then she goes on to say that she wasn't singing for Ren. She only sang
Mhm.
for herself. It really had nothing to do with anybody but herself. And we're back in the future now.
Mhm.
Not even no, we're back in the present. Present,
Mhm.
future. It's like it's still the past. It's still
Yeah,
the past,
it's all flashbacky, but this is like quote present end quote,
but also the past because
but
like
also
the
the past.
perspective of the entire thing is from the future or the present. The timeline, I'm telling you, it's yeah.
Oh, it was a whole thing, but Nobu has shown up with his certificate of graduation to apparently show it off to Nana, who did not
Who dropped out of
graduate.
high school.
Yeah,
But they're so mean to each other, but like it's out of love.
yeah,
Um,
and he sold his buttons. Like he's bragging about selling his buttons, and I'm like, is this a thing that one can do after high school? Or
I
is it
mean,
just,
maybe it is like a thing.
or is it just
You
because he's
sell
in a
them to like
band?
underclassmen.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Popularity, like the whole Yuki Soma being a high school prince, right?
Hmm.
I'm sure that like when he's a senior, he could sell his buttons.
Yeah, yeah, he could. He could
So,
literally sell any of his clothes. But
and
yes.
Nobu is in a popular like hometown band, so
Hmm.
he's like a high school prince,
Hmm. True.
right?
Even though isn't it's another character later, is it Naoki? Is that his name? He's the drummer for TRAPNEST.
Uh-huh.
Isn't he technically the prince of his high school circle? Like we have a prince
Yeah, but they're
character.
older.
It's true. It's that guy. We do have a prince, but it's
Yeah,
that
but
guy.
he's older,
Hmm.
right? But like also like that comparison is really just popularity.
Yeah,
Not so much because like he's just shiny all the time.
it's true.
You know, it's a little different, right? I mean like yeah, Prince Yuki doesn't want that shiny attention at
No.
all
Mm,
ever, right? Whereas
no.
Nyoki totally wants the attention. He wants
Mm,
it.
yeah, no, that is very true. And oh my God, how good is Fruits Basket?
Right? So anyway, he's bragging about selling his buttons, and she's like, "Beat it, shrimp. Just like, just stop, just stop." Um, and says that she's busy,
Mhm.
and then Nobu's like, "I heard about Ren,"
Yeah.
and asking her what she's gonna do, and her face just kind of drops when he's not looking, but when she does respond, like she's very coy about it.
Hmm.
Like she shows emotion briefly.
Yeah.
And that's really tough because like she's tore up.
Mm-hmm.
Um and she jokes about like if she goes like so she's going to Tokyo, is Nobu gonna miss her? You know? And he's like, what? And
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I mean, but I'll go with you. Like that's
right. Right,
yeah.
exactly. Like, okay, let's do this. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, let's go.
Yeah.
Um and he's like super dedicated. He's like, it's not gonna be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and then he kind of gives her a backhanded compliment.
Really?
Yeah, you're not Patsy Cline or anything, but your voice is husky, cool, unique. Like, what even is that, Nobu?
I don't know because like every time I think about Patsy Cline, I just think about, my mom talking about Patsy Cline and she's just like, Patsy Cline, she's all right, you know? So I'm just like, well, from my mother's perspective, Patsy Cline ain't that great. So the comparison is like,
Well, I think it's just the aspect of having a unique voice,
true.
not having something that fits into the box, but it's the or anything that I'm just like, or anything. Where
Mm.
where are you placing this on a scale? On a scale of Patsy Cline, what does that mean?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's
Right?
Nobu's
Right.
so good
I,
at talking to
that's why I'm like,
girls.
it's a weird backhanded compliment, Nobu. Stop it. And then he's like, I don't want to play guitar for anyone else. Like, and like you can't see him being super intense, but because you could see his hands, I'm just like, I feel like he just slammed his hands down when he said it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a sense of like grip and yeah. And it's so heartbreaking that he says that though. Like, I don't want to play guitar with any other singer, and Nana's face is
Right.
just
And then he goes on to say that Yasu thinks that too. And that if
yeah.
she quits, he'll quit for good. And she's like, don't say that because that's what I wanted to hear from Ren. That's what she wanted
I
Ren to say. And that's just like straight to the heart.
yeah, I don't blame her for feeling that way. Like
No, not
that's
at all.
yeah,
Not at all.
I would want that. I would
Right?
Ren, you should want it too. Sorry. I know he's doing the thing so he can have a chance and a cool rock star career because he likes to do that thing, but like, mm,
Right.
why
I
couldn't you
mean,
also?
right. But like also I feel like if he chose not to go for Nana,
Yeah.
or if he said something like that, Nana would actually probably be more pissed at him.
Yeah.
He would just be like, what's wrong with you? You have to go do this. But I think that a lot of like her sorrow and anger in it is that he didn't talk to her about it.
He didn't.
Right?
And yeah.
Like, and they were in a relationship for over a year and he just didn't talk to her about it. Even if he knew what her choice would be and how she would react, it's still the respect of talking to your partner.
Yeah, he didn't really give her any of those options like he should have.
Right. And so like that's what she like deserved, not
Yep.
just wanted, right?
Hmm.
And she tells Nobu thank you, but she's not moving.
Hmm.
And then he's like, why not?
Honestly,
I feel like he's just such a busybody, but like he doesn't even know he's a busybody.
same Nobu.
He's just so invested.
I get, yeah, like, no, I get it. I'm like, yeah, same. I need to know, like,
Right?
why? What is your reasoning? Like, what is, need, yeah,
Right?
I get it.
But like his entire universe is being shaken. And like
Hmm.
it's very much built around all of these things.
Yeah.
Um, and he's the only one that it really truly is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Nobu pretty much is, he's asking if it's like, are you splitting up with Ren? But you guys, like, even if you aren't together in the band, you can still live together. But Nana just kiboshes that. She's like, no, I cannot do that.
right.
Um,
And Nobu tries
and
to prove that like he's in love with her, and how he tries to prove it is that he never cheated on her. And it's like, what?
Ooh.
That's the bar? That's the bar. The bar's
Well,
pretty low.
it's a pretty low bar, but Nobu's saying some things in this section.
Right. I also just feel like he's trying to console her, but he just doesn't know how.
He doesn't have the right language for this, uh, for our girl who's still in the midst of processing. Well, they're both processing together, so it's like, how are you how do I, how
Right.
do we? Oh my God!
Right. Well, and then like she yells at him that her life doesn't revolve around screwing Ren, and it's like, actually, but honey,
Mm, oh no, you're calling her out.
but honey, like most of your guys' scenes together are in a bathtub or doing it. So like, prove me wrong.
Yeah. Well, maybe she's a physical like.
Which is fine and fair, but my
Mhm.
goodness.
It's
My
true.
goodness. My goodness.
I
Um,
mean, there is that aspect though, like gravitational pull, like I think it
oh
becomes more
yeah.
prevalent as we go on, but like this whole idea of her folding herself into the personality of Ren.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And she doesn't want to be seen as just his partner. And then she goes on to say, I want to be a real singer. Like that separation from him
Mhm.
because he didn't choose her.
He did not. And that's from
He didn't
it's
choose her as a bandmate and he didn't choose her as a partner. And we can see those two things as different things. And in regard to both things, he didn't choose either of them.
mhm. It's all shitty, but that's just my opinion. I
It
think
is.
that's
It
shitty.
is. It is. It's total crap. It's total crap. Total crap.
As much as we love Ren, though, it's like,
Hmm.
shit move, dude. My God.
Right. But like also, as we talked about yesterday, it is a shit move, but also will he get another opportunity?
Mm.
Right. Because the music
Mm.
business is hard. He's literally
Mhm.
invited into a band that already has a record deal.
Yeah. I
But he
don't
could have at
know.
least talked to her.
No, he could have. And I don't know the ins and outs of like Japanese signing like like rigorous. Like I know
It is
K-pop has
very
stuff.
competitive.
Yeah.
K-pop got it from J-pop, and it is
Mm.
soft propaganda. So like it is designed to be that way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's intense,
Yeah.
and
Very different.
yeah, it's very different. It's very different. But Nobu like won't let it go. He's like, let's go to Tokyo. Like he's just like, let's do this. Like let's come on, come on,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, let's do it, Mr. Impulsive.
Right. Well, but also though, it's similar to Hachi. He doesn't
Yes,
understand what it takes to do something like that because he's never had to be independent.
true.
You know, like
Hmm.
he's never had to worry about those things.
That's very true.
And so she says, I don't want to go right now. If I move now, I'll just end up living with Ren. I couldn't not live with him.
Hmm.
And nobody's like, so live with him.
And she's like,
Um,
no.
right, right. Well, and she's like, she explains that she doesn't want to be a homemaker and she doesn't want to watch Ren get famous with a better singer than her.
Which that's comes back up again. I think like there's this whole idea of Rira who we'll meet later, like being better than Nana. I'm like, I don't think she's better. She's just different.
Friend, right, exactly. But it is also that stereotype.
Yeah.
Because because Trapnest is a lot like so Trapnest is a lot like Evanescence,
Yes.
whereas Blast is a lot like the Distillers. So,
Hmm.
there's that variable difference between melodic and more punk rock.
Right, like what is it, symphonic metal? Yeah,
Right.
versus the punky rock.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, you know, uh, more melodic music is always considered it's not always considered better, but it's more polished.
Hmm. And I think it gets more mainstream play
Yep, it's more
than.
socially acceptable, especially because Nana's voice is husky.
Hmm.
Rira's voice is angelic.
Yeah.
So like, and that's automatically seen as better,
Yeah.
even if it's not technically better. Like socially, it's socially more
Yeah. So
acceptable.
socially, yeah,
Right.
which is hard.
Right, exactly. But Nana's also aware of that. And she just says that she doesn't want that and that she has pride. And I think
Hmm.
that that in itself is valid. I think that's also part of the reason why Ren didn't talk to her.
Yeah, probably. Still would have helped though.
I know. I know. I know. I know. You should talk to your partner, kids.
Yes,
Before
yes.
making life-altering changes, just be like, "Hey, I got this offer. I want to do it. I'm just letting you know. Don't spring it on them. I'm doing this."
Mm-hmm. And yeah, don't assume that you know what they'll say,
Yeah,
because that's
exactly.
the problem.
Exactly. Um, and so like she says that she's gonna stay put and take singing lessons. Um, and she'll learn how to do it without Ren, and then she'll go to Tokyo when she's ready.
Hmm.
And apologizes to Nobu. Um, but also like apologizes and she's like, "I'm sorry, Nobu, but until then, I want you to stick with me." So like that's also what Nobu needed though.
Hmm.
Is he didn't want everybody to just be like, "I'm out." And it was all reliant on Nana.
Hmm.
Like it focuses so much on Nana's feeling and everybody's feelings, Nana's feelings especially, but everybody's feelings on Ren and Ren being the glue of the band. But Ren was never the glue of the band. It has always been Nana.
Hmm. That's true.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is that Nana has to learn that.
Yeah. Emotional journey.
Well, she's got to learn how to depend on people. Like Hachi has to learn how to be independent, and Nana has to
Hmm.
learn how to depend on others.
Yeah. Both are hard for people that have never tried that before.
Exactly. Right. The thing that you're uncomfortable with is always the hardest thing to do.
Hmm. Trusting people. That's gross.
Right. Oh God, I have to do what?
Yeah. That's why, but I could just do it myself, all by myself.
Exactly. So Nobu's like, "You really don't want to sing without me playing guitar?" She's like, "Not really." Like
Good.
he's fishing for compliments. Like that's one of the things though. Like Nobu is like he gets like coined as being childish a lot because he is childish, but
Mhm.
like it's because Nobu can play still. Because he has that security, he's able to play.
Yeah,
He's able to be playful.
which is great. Well, I think it's great because it's like, oh, you haven't lost things.
Right?
So,
So now Nana goes into like time travel mode into the past from the
mhm.
current present, which isn't the present. Um and and she's like, "Ren and I hooked up about a year after we met." So like they first met at that concert where she was scowling at him in the red dress, right?
Mhm.
And then they got to know each other for a year and a half. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And I think that's something that's often forgotten because they're always drawn in the bathtub.
True.
And they
They
met on Chris and they hooked up for the first time on Christmas.
yes, this best Christmas present ever.
Right? And she admits that she was like always attracted to him.
I mean, who
Who
wouldn't
wouldn't
be?
be?
Honestly, honestly, who wouldn't be?
How can you not be?
You know me.
He's drawn to be beautiful.
He's incredibly gorgeous.
Right?
Yay!
Right? Right?
Most of the men actually that Yazawa draws are just they're so pretty.
They're so pretty. They're so pretty. Um,
Yeah.
and so, you know, they, as she said, screwed around for the first time on the snowbank in like a blizzard, which that kind of relates back to the first flashback that she had.
Snows a lot here.
It snows a lot, but like a lot happens in the snow for Nana. Like snow is like
Symbolism.
it's this,
Woo!
yeah, it's symbolism and it's like the scene of her core memories.
Mm-hmm.
Like snow is the connection to her core memories.
True. Like this thing happened and it was snowing, and this other thing happened and it was also snowing. Weird. All these pivotal moments of my life are happening in the snow,
Right?
which
Yeah,
is
exactly.
and
Which is
snow's
death.
we just went two we just went two places with that. You're like, it is death, and I'm over here like, but snow is white and innocent and fluffy,
Yeah,
and you're like,
after things die.
see here, Capricorn stellium, you
I
must.
was I was born on a snowy night. Well, I wasn't born at night, but I'm a Capricorn. Snow is my season.
I'm a spring baby, so that's probably where the look at the innocent, cute, fluffy thing, and you're like, yeah, that's death, bro.
Yeah, I have a lot of I have a lot of Saturn. I deal with a lot of Saturn. Okay,
Fair.
I can't help myself. Damn it.
It's totally
um,
fine. I love it. That's why the polarizing
right, right,
girlfriends is
right.
why would
Absolutely,
we join this?
absolutely. So they get a cake because they get presents from their fans. So they have a cake. That says
With
Merry Xmas Nana.
with strawberries on it, this is a recurring thing.
Yeah,
Like,
strawberries are a big deal. Strawberries are a big deal.
they're
Strawberries are
delicious.
cute though.
They are. They're so
It
cute.
smells good, tastes good. They're
Yum
cute
yum.
to look at. The folk stories around strawberries are adorable. Like,
Hmm.
you know, yeah. Strawberries are legit.
Yes.
And so then they're joking about how it's probably poisoned. And
Because
um
of a fan, right? They're just
right,
like,
crazy
oh.
fans poisoning stuff.
Hmm.
Um and the joke is specifically around like Nana being close to Ren, and so the girls
Hmm.
get jealous of that, and so they would poison the cake. Um, right?
I don't know, I just love Nana's reaction to that though, because her immediate reaction is just to hand it over him and go like, "Well, then you're checking it, then, aren't you?"
Right. And she has frosting on her finger, so she goes to lick her finger, and he kisses her for the first time, and then she's like, "I forgot to close my eyes," and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so cute."
It is, but it was so sudden. But yeah, and
Hmm.
it is kind of out of nowhere too, because yeah.
Right? Well, and then she's like, "I thought I was gonna die because I wanted Ren. I wanted him so bad I couldn't deal."
Hmm.
I mean, to pine over someone for that long,
Yeah.
especially with teenage hormones,
Yes.
bro,
Oh.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is, but have you ever had one of those feelings where someone that you might have been involved or, hanging out with and all the things, and then one day they're just like, I kiss you, I like you, and you're like, what?
No,
Oh, well, I am sad for you then because it's a fantastic feeling.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'm just a weirdo.
Oh no, that's okay. It happened with my husband. I know
Right.
that's like cliche,
No, I
but it's
know. No, it's
true.
adorable, but you guys are adorable. So like, and I know
Thank
the
you.
story. I know the whole story, and it's so precious. So like valid and fair. And you guys both deserve that because you're both beautiful, amazing semi-humans.
Yes, you also same with the semi-humanness. Yay.
I'm like not human,
No, not humans, not humans,
but like human, but like not human.
not human.
Um, and so like she's like ever since that first night where she's literally like burning her eyes into his soul. Um,
Hmm.
and she didn't say anything for the sake of the band, which like is valid and also goes to show that like that was and still is her priority, is her music, like above all else, right? And so I think
Hmm.
that's also that kinship within her and Ren is that
Hmm.
for both of them, they both are like it's music or nothing.
Hmm.
Um and their relationship was always just kind of secondary. Like it's not that they didn't love like that they don't love each other. It's not like it's not a great love.
Hmm.
It's that music is their priority.
I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it though either. Well, aside from the not talking to each other thing, but like One of my guy friends told me once, he's like, the best, well, how you stay together as a couple is you have to have fun together in the same way. So I guess music could be their same
Hmm.
way of having fun together.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of layers to it,
Hmm.
definitely. Um, and then they go to they're still in the past in these next cells.
Hmm.
Um, post I assume that this is like post hookup, first hookup, right?
Yeah.
And she's saying, "Didn't you say for the sake of the band, no one should go out with Nana?" And he's like, "It's cool, man. I have everything I need right here." And she's like, "Are you for real? Like, really?"
But she's
Um,
blushing, so.
right? It's cute. No, it's cute. Like they're just giving each other a hard time. It's adorable. I mean, like they built up this relationship for a year and a half,
Hmm.
right? And they moved in automatically. I also don't think that that's weird because they built up the relationship for a year and a half.
Yeah, no, that's not weird. And we get these like quick flashes of doing um all this, well, I call it serious stuff because it's like that, she made a little plaque for the outside door. She got a tattoo for Ren, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
lotus tattoo
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, the Ren flower.
yeah, and then she put the padlock, around his neck.
And
uh,
she has the key. She keeps
and
the key.
she keeps the key.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because we revisit this later. It's the Sid and Nancy thing, though.
Hmm.
Um, and which is Sid and Nancy were a terrible couple and they were extremely abusive and they were not good people.
Yeah, I know. That's why I always thought it was kind of interesting. And I'm like, those are your
But they were
OG.
romanticized heavily by Hollywood.
True, because I'm like,
So,
those are your stands? That can't
right.
be your stand. No.
Right. But they were heavily romanticized, like heavily romanticized
True.
for a long time by like everybody, socially acceptable.
Hmm.
Right. Um,
People
and
still do
so
though.
she goes on to think because like now it's blocky flashback thoughts
Hmm.
that Ren inspired her to sing from her guts, to learn
Hmm.
guitar, and to really live. Um, but she never believed that she could offer anything to Ren. Like that confidence still wasn't there. It's like as soon as she's out of his gravitational pull,
Hmm.
she doesn't know anymore. Like she doesn't she might be independent, but she doesn't have any self-confidence.
Hmm.
Um and she goes on to think that maybe she could quit singing and to go live in Tokyo and she could like be the little housewife. Um and it's like no, don't think that.
I don't think that.
But like I think that that's a really valid and honest conundrum
Yeah.
that someone would think in this situation.
Yeah, especially for the age and like that shot that we
Mhm.
see there is her again in a bathtub. Like you said, Nana spends a lot of time in bathtubs.
She does.
She's very clean. But it's a very lonely shot because Ren isn't there
Yeah, exactly.
now.
And it's their bathtub and like she's standing in like what looks like their library area and it's very lonely looking. And you know, the look on her face and she's looking at a documentary of Tokyo and it's just it's really like it's really melancholic.
Hmm.
Um and she's thinking to herself that it might be more than enough to just be with him. It might be more than enough. But that also comes from this weird place of because she doesn't think that she deserves it,
Yeah.
like deserves everything, like deserves everything. She doesn't believe that she's good enough for everything that she desires. That like what she does have, how she does feel, she doesn't believe that she deserves. So she believes that's more than what she deserves,
Mm,
right? And so like that's what's cycling through her head.
yeah.
And she's really just thinking about their trauma and how it is similar and how neither of them really have anybody but each other.
Yeah.
And then what's realistic?
Yeah. And then we get to the is it the train station? It's just the
Yeah.
station, right? It's the
Yeah, no,
train. Yeah.
this is the train station. This is the train station when Ren is leaving.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try to not cry.
Right? This isn't even
Well,
I didn't even start crying at this point when I was doing my reread. I literally started crying in the panel when she's looking at Ren at the concert for the first time, and I'm like, and I'm done.
yeah, I mean, you see on the reread here, I didn't actually cry, but like today's been a lot. So now I'm just like,
Right.
here he is with his guitar, and he's about to get on this train, and he's being semi-flippant, you know? They're
He's
just like,
being
oh,
very flippant.
yeah, he's just like, oh, do you,
He's
like,
like, guitar and cigarettes, it's all I need.
it's all I need. Why,
When
yes,
he had
Vagabond.
his stuff shipped, you know. But
Yeah.
he's also saying it to Nobu. So like it's just like it checks out, you know, giving Nobu a hard time.
Hmm.
Always just checks out.
And then
Um
there's a mention of a Adam, a different character from a different manga of Ieyasuwa's called the
yeah,
Evil
that
Eye.
was so Adam is Crescent Moon.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, isn't it that
I
one?
think I called it Quarter Moon in episode 0, and I was like, I think that's not right. And I went and looked it up, and some translations say Quarter Moon, and some translations say Crescent Moon. But yeah, Adam is a not living rock star from another series. That is a series about like ghosts and children and a
Mhm.
haunted house, and there's obviously a lead like girl. It's great. It's beautiful. Um, the depth of that story is pretty amazing. To be able to relate to like 9-year-olds emotionally is really cool.
Yeah, because when I was looking up that one, because I'm like, I really want to read this one, there was like a shot of Adam, and then when I reread this, I was like, oh, that's who Adam is. Okay, now I know which manga to plunk him into for the Yazawa cinematic universe, as it were.
Right? Right? Because no, it really is a whole universe and like multiple generations,
Hmm.
and they all tie together.
I love that though. That's so
Right?
cool.
Right? Yeah, it is her own universe where time doesn't make sense at all.
Time is
Um,
weird. Anyway.
and then Nana says, "Well, I guess it's time."
Mm-hmm. Messiness. Which time, Nana? Like,
Right? Which one? Where are we at? Where are we at in the timeline? We don't know anymore.
we don't know
Um,
anymore.
so you know they walk off smiling. Yasu like just turns like around like And
Ah,
is that a cigarette or is that a joint? Like that's the real question of the hour because
that's the real.
I think it's a joint.
Is it?
Um,
Yeah, the way Nobu's holding it. I like how Ren handed it off to Nobu. It's like,
yeah, he's passing the torch,
yeah, I can't think of any more of like how men would say goodbye to each other. Like,
right?
I love you, bro. Here's
Yeah,
my unfinished joint
I'm gonna
and or
say it's a
cigarette.
cigarette though because weed is illegal in Japan.
Oh, that's fair. Also, Nobu's not a smoker, so that would explain why he's holding
That's
it weird.
no, yeah, that's also I think part of it is because he's not a smoker,
Right? He's like, this is how I, right?
right? Yeah. So then Nana walks him to the train and they have their farewell kiss.
She's wearing the red dress
She's
too.
wearing the frilly red dress.
Mm-hmm.
Just and she
Mm-mm.
cries
Yep.
and then she runs away and he's like just smiling, so cool. It's a lie.
It's a
He's
lie.
lying.
It's a total lie.
It's a total lie because like she falls to the ground. Nobu rushes towards her because Nobu is a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then on the train, um, Ren breaks down crying.
Yeah. And like Nobu
And
like runs for the train, right? He like
yeah, he
runs to
runs
go.
for the train. Oh, that's right. He passed Nana and Nobu. I got the hair confused because they're both wearing leather jackets. So forgive me.
Mhm.
And I like as I was saying this, I was like, no, I remember specifically Nobu witnessing Ren crying because Nana didn't see it.
Yeah, no. Nobu did though.
Right. And so the train takes off.
Yeah.
But that's the first like break, like crack that we see in Ren, and that it is really affecting him.
Yeah.
He's been really strong and coy about this decision this whole time until this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really happy that Nobu witnessed it.
Me too.
Right? Because it would have been different if Yasu witnessed it.
Yep. Probably.
It would have been sensationally different. I think it would have changed parts of the story.
Yeah, probably. I don't quite know how, but yeah.
Well, like, I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't for Yasu to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, Yasu might have just been like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I don't
Maybe.
know. I don't know. But, like, Nobu also has a big mouth. Yasu would have never said anything. Ever.
True.
He would have went to the grave. Because he goes to the grave, I'm sure, with a lot.
Yeah.
Because Yasu knows a lot.
He does carry a lot of uh lore.
He does. Oh, he's
The
just
best way I
he's
can
so
describe it.
magnificent.
If you couldn't tell, Kirsten is a Yasu stan, so
I totally am. I love Yasu so much. He's so
there's
great. He's
nothing wrong with
so
that. It's
great.
great.
He's so great. But yeah, so then we're back into like narrative square or rectangle panels. And
Hmm.
it says that it's been a year and 3 months since I moved in with Ren, right around the beginning of spring, when there was still snow on the ground. It was over. And then it's Nana crying.
Hmm.
Like weeping, crying. Not just Whittle cries, but like weeping. Like she's still on the ground in the train station.
Yeah,
Weeping.
it's like ugly crying.
Right. It's definitely ugly crying.
It's
We didn't say it, but we both knew it that living apart would be the end of us. There was no reason to call or write. There's no meaning without touch. The loneliness that Ren couldn't express manifested itself in bed every night. I could feel it.
hmm
I felt it more than anyone else could.
no,
God, you don't even
nice.
know yet. You don't
No,
even know
I
yet.
don't even know. And there's just that. I honestly like this shot of them like in bed together with his like arm around her and she's just like
Mm-hmm.
snuggled up next to him. I just stare at that panel every time I read it, like
Right. Because
before I
she's
even
so
turn the page.
small.
He's so
Right?
small.
So small. It's like the only time that she's ever been able to be vulnerable.
hmm It's just, I don't know, that panel to me is like, it's sad, but it's also incredibly perfect because I'm like, here is safe, here is good,
Right. Yeah.
and he,
Absolutely.
and here is no more. God damn it,
Yeah, for sure.
because he went to Tokyo.
He did. Yeah, exactly. He went off. He left. He left on a train. He left on a very fast bullet train. Um, and it's just heavy, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's just heavy. It's just sad. See, like, that's also a huge difference between their introductions. It's a
Yeah,
huge difference.
it
Like,
is,
it's such a big difference.
and
Because
that is.
Hachi's just like, I just want to be cool too. And Nana's like, I was just split in half.
Yeah, and I think that's why my friend said to me, "Why didn't they start it off with her story first? This is clearly the stronger arc instead of
Well,
starting it off with the other one." I'm
I
like,
also think that's why in the anime they introduce them both together before they tell their stories.
yeah.
Um so then it's that panel of them in bed and then it shows a club.
Hmm.
It's on top of a club. And then it's a concert and she says Merry Christmas. So it's now been not even a year, right?
Yeah. Let's see, she said it was spring when he
Uh-huh.
left, so now it's
Right.
Christmas. So
Right now it's
yeah.
Christmas. So it hasn't even been a full year yet.
No, not
But
yet.
Christmas is the first time that they got together and when they moved in together and when they became a couple. So it would have been 2 years exactly since that
Hmm.
happened, right?
Yeah.
Um, and we have the reminiscing. I miss that time since Ren left. my days are spent in a walking dream. So she's just kind of floating through life. It doesn't feel grounded without him.
Yeah.
And again, she mentions the snow.
Mhm.
Like, snow is her thing.
It is.
Does Hachi have a thing?
Her haircuts.
Yeah, it's her haircuts. Okay, we're going with that. It's her hair. It's her fashion. It's how she changes her image.
It is. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, at this point,
But
it's
it's
just
still
her
not the
hair.
same. Because, like, Nana's like, it's snow. Like, it's snow. And Hachi's like, it's my hair. Actually, no, that totally fits. Nope, we're
No,
sticking
it does. It does, because,
with
like...
that. So fits.
Yes. One of them is very deep, and the other one is very Hachi.
It's not that she's not deep. It's just that she can play.
True.
Yeah. It has its own depth. Hair has meaning. Hair actually has a lot of meaning culturally.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
But I don't think it has. I don't think it has that meaning. But I'm just gonna give it to her. I'm gonna give it to her.
Yes, there you go, Hachi. That's your thing.
And so then she's looking at a poster of TRAPNEST,
Mm-hmm.
and that they have an album out. So that would have been the first album with Ren, and the first album since being signed.
Yep.
And it's called Winter Garden.
Mm-hmm. Great title.
Right.
And there's our band. There's my boy Takumi.
Ugh, he's so hot.
In the background.
Piece of work.
Yeah. I shouldn't have all the sympathy for Takumi, but I do, because I like things that are broken. So
I know. But like, and he's so hot. But it's like, and he's so bad. He's so bad. He is so bad. He's just bad. And so she gets a Christmas cake again.
Mm-hmm. More cake, more strawberries.
Right. And there's a little letter in it. And it's about how they got her self-released album, and then they mention Ren, and that's kind of sad. You know, because it is different for Ren. It's not just different for Nana. Like, that's the thing, is they have a huge following.
Mm-hmm.
And those people really love them. It might be like a parasocial love, but it's still a love.
Mm-hmm. But
and the cake is from Masato, of course.
Oh, yes, of course.
And Masato,
delicious.
It's adorable. It's adorable. It has a little snowman, a little house, and strawberries. It's super cute.
Yeah, that is a confectionery.
Right?
So
Masato
good.
probably made it too. She probably made it. She's so
probably
made it. Like, I feel like she can like make all things cute. Like, all she has to do is like walk into a space, and everything just transforms into being adorable by her presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's her superpower.
She's good. Even
obsessed, but good.
Yes. Yeah. It's fine. It's not creepy at all.
She's just an ultimate stan. She
is.
And she's Nana's stan, right? She's not Ren's stan.
Yeah.
And I think that also just, I don't know, it's its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ren has a lot of stans.
Yes.
Right? And Nana really, like, she's got her fans who, like, look like her. And I guess that's also another part, is she has all those fans who, like, dress like her and stuff, and Masato never does.
No. But we're not going to discuss that part, because that's a super spoiler, but there is something that Masato has a secret, and she keeps it.
Yes. And we'll get into that later.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh, I forgot about that.
I never do. As the kids would say, I guess Masato can be a little sus at times.
Right. Yeah, she can. She totally, like, obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually been 1 year and 9 months. So it's been 2 years since they initially moved in. 3 years since they initially moved in together. See this timeline.
The timeline, it clips along with and yeah, no, she's 20. She's 20 now.
So they're both 20. They're both named Nana, and they're both 20, and they're both going to Tokyo at the same time. together.
So where is that on the planetary stuff? Like, oh, we're 20. Like, where's our squares? Where's our
Oh, I mean, like, there's a lot of different stuff. It also depends on the chart, but like a big prolific one within growing up is it's working towards a Saturn square.
Mhm.
And it is the last Saturn like aspect of a transiting Saturn to a natal Saturn before your Saturn return.
Right.
Because you have three. And so that is a growth point at 21.
Mhm.
A big growth and maturity point at 21.
Which they're almost to.
Exactly. So it's pushing towards that because it's like all a spectrum anyway. It starts out small and it has like its crescendo and decrescendo, right?
Mhm.
Of energy and of influence. But yeah, she's turning 20 in March. So we don't know if she's a Pisces or an Aries.
Ooh, is their birthday the same day? Both Nanas?
I don't know, but that will change everything. But it's also about planets. Like I'm
True.
still convinced that Hachi
God.
has stuff in Libra. I'm just
I mean, yeah, that's
Libra
true.
rising or something. You know what I mean? And it would make sense for Nana O to be an Aries,
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I'm like, well, if their birthdays were the same day, I know who the Pisces is.
right? But also like having some Pisces, Pisces makes artists. Like having Pisces placements, it makes artists, it makes musicians, it makes so does Capricorn placements actually. But um, it instills those parts.
Right.
So, but it could even be that like if her sun is in Aries, there's planets that always stay close to the sun. So like Mercury could be in Pisces, which would actually check out quite a bit.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see Aries for
Yeah.
for Nana because yeah, as someone with that's my son's son, I'm like, oh yeah, she's got some. There's a like, I got my pride. I'm gonna do this by myself. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
The headstrong head first. Think
yeah.
sometimes you act before you think, and then you got to think about it really hard.
Hey, that's true.
It's a thing. It's not a bad thing, okay? It
No,
can be, but it's one of those things. Everything can be good or everything could be bad, but also bad and good aren't really a thing. Let's see. So she's going to reward herself for hanging in there by buying a one-way ticket to Tokyo for her birthday.
hey. And she's
Right?
she's taking only a guitar and cigarettes,
She's shipping the rest.
shipping the rest.
Okay. She's shipping the rest. And that is the end of Nana O's introduction chapter.
Well, I'm so excited for the next one because they get to
I
like
know.
meet. They get to
Yeah, they get to meet. Okay, so chapter 3, they get to meet.
They do. Yay.
And I guess you'll hear us talk too long about it next week.
Yes. Yes, that's what's gonna happen. I know it's only like I don't know how many episodes that this is going to be because I haven't edited the other one yet, but do we want to tell people where they can find us on the internet?
Yeah. Okay. So we have an Instagram. Hopefully, by the time that you hear this, it'll be like findable. It's apartment 707 underscore. And we are recording this via Discord. So we do hope to have things in Discord so that you can join the chat and give us your opinions and yell at me for being mean. You're totally allowed. It doesn't mean I won't be mean back.
Right.
No, I'm actually really nice. I just, hyperanalyze and hyperfixate on things. But yeah, we appreciate you being here and listening. And sorry if we're obnoxious and you don't like us, but you don't have to listen to us. Even if you don't want to listen to us, go ahead and tell us in the comments because it'll generate the algorithms so that people who do want to hear us can find us.
Right. Exactly. So that's probably it for this evening. I think
Yeah.
we're going to sign off. So
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Have an
yeah.
amazing night
Yeah.
and visit us next week at apartment 707.
Yes. Good night, everybody.